Welcome, everybody. It's your boy, the Versace Stoner, and we're back with another episode of VSW Podcast. We had some minor interruption on our last one, so we're gonna start off fresh. Um, don't know if Disable Wolf is still available, unfortunately, but right now we're gonna jump back into the action of what happened. Okay, first of all, we're talking Limitless Pro Wrestling acting up. It was Saturday, May 28th, 2022. What a great long weekend, I have to say. Disable Wolf came up and he came over with me. And also, the newlywed Mrs. Versace Stoner came out to Freeport for the month, and it was great there. We went to all the shops, bought some high-end fashion. There's great designer shops at a low-cost price. Gotta love it. Went to Lewiston, got all the smoke the Versace Stoner could ever love. They got all the greatest edibles out there, everything. It's so much better than Mass, and the price you can't beat. My God, what a day. What a day in history. But what a night we had that Saturday. And let me tell you, what a great Saturday it was. I think that is this Saberwolf. He is available. Let's give him a ring and let's see what is going on here with Disable Wolf. Let's see if he answers now. Okay, he must be a little busy there right now. So I'll just jump right into it. What a fast action pace. It kicked off with one of the greatest matches you could possibly imagine. Two heavy hitters in the industry, Big Beef and Jake something. And it was a great match to open things up. These are two heavy hitting guys. I've been a fan of Jake something since I saw him at Please Come Back at Beyond Wrestling, where he faced Josh Briggs. And he has just captivated me. This dude is, he's very entertaining. He's very hard hitting. We saw him also last year. He got a title shot against Daniel Garcia. Didn't take the title with him, but he he went the distance, we'll say. Daniel Garcia was one of the better, in my opinion, one of the best Limitless World Champions. But he had help. He had Blackwood, and that would save him almost all the time. But that's neither here nor there right now. We have a new champ in the house, and we will get onto that later in this episode as well. But yes, this was a great match between these two. And like I said, I'm a big Beef fan as well. He's come a long way, I feel. And he was very heavy hitting and really took it to Jake something. Now, with that being said, though, Jake something is no pushover, and he could give it right back to Big Beef. Well, in the end, though, it was Big Beef being victorious. And, I think the crowd really was behind him. He really, really was. And after that, he gave a speech that I could feel. I mean, he, told a story that's very similar that I've heard across the industry. How you people didn't, lost motivation, lost a lot during the pandemic, and a lot of people didn't want to come back. And, well, thankfully he did come back, and he talked about how the fans kept him wanting to stay. And he's had some tremendous matches. One of my favorite is the Black Label Pro there, where he beat Anthony Green out in Chicago. Great matchup. You could probably find that on IWTV or maybe Fight. I don't know. which won. I remember watching it live. It was last year, but he also told how he wants the winner of the championship match between Alec Price and Lince Dorado. And we'll get into who wins that later on in this podcast as well. But the fans are behind beef, and, well, beef it is. Beef, 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 beef. And on to our next matchup. And before I get into this, I just want to say, there was some news the night before, John Albert had to pull out due to mental health issue. And I have to say, I commend you for speaking about it. I did a podcast last night about mental health. This industry, podcasting industry, wrestling industry, whatever industry you're in right now, actually is not easy. And everybody is struggling some way, somehow. And, everybody can use a little extra help, I feel, or everybody could use someone to talk to. And I'm glad that you've taken the time to acknowledge that. I'm glad that you take the time, I say, for yourself, because a lot of people don't do that. They just keep rushing whatever industry they're in, and they just keep pushing and pushing. And if they push their mental health aside enough, well, that's how breakdowns happen, unfortunately. I do wish you the best, John, and I do hope that things go well. But with that being said, this next matchup was highly anticipated. We had the prestigious BIG and Mac Daniels, the Let's Wrestle champion, against Dun 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 Shook. Dun 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 Shook. Dun 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 Shook. Dun Dun Dun. The Shook Crew with Bobby Orlando and Bryce Donovan. We had Bryce on our podcast last year. Great guy. Hopefully we can get Bobby on here. Love to talk to him. Two of Creative Pro's best. They went up against Mac Daniels and BRG again. No Channing Thomas, as you know. They turned on Channing. And, well, if you saw what happened in the last show, you know that now it's down to two. And, like I said, John wasn't there, but, I didn't know how it was going to go. Prestigious could have held their own or not. I've seen them without John before, and they kind of just are a little bit scattered. They need to learn a little bit more how to work and communicate this without John being there. I think he's kind of the middleman between all these guys. He's a Mac Daniels guy. That's who his guy is, and he, helped and worked with these other guys, but it's not the same. It's not Mac Daniels, so he kind of is like the middleman to make sure the peace is there, and without him, no, there is no peace. Meanwhile, you got the Shook Crew. They are a well-built machine, a very well duo. Used to be a trio with Mac there, Max Callister. He's on AEW now, but you still got these two. They run the indie scene. You can see them all over the place. Bryce Donovan, he had a very severe lung injury, and he's back, and it's great to see him back. He was tremendous. Really was great wrestling. I actually bought myself a Bobby Jr. stuffed animal and a Shook Crew bandana. Good stuff, good stuff. But, this was a great classic tag team match. These two gave it their all, but in the end, it was the Shook Crew that got the better of them, and, then the fingers started to be pointed. Was it, whose fault was it? And these Mac Daniels and BIG basically started a screaming contest, which led to BIG just walking away. Don't talk to me like that, and he walked out. And when he did, we got to see world-class Channing Thomas come running in, pile driving Mac Daniels right to the canvas, getting that sweet victory that BRG, likes to cry about. Might I add you, BRG has also lost the NCW World Championship, BRG World Championship, whatever the heck you might want to call it, to Channing Thomas as well at NCW. There was some title changes there as well. You're going to have to go on their website and check out if you missed their show. It was their anniversary show. And Dallas McCarthy also took the title, though, off of the Riot Kellen Thomas. And just when I was becoming a fan. Too bad, too bad. But I see Disabled Wolf is done eating, and we are going to continue this ride. So let's give him a ring.
Disabled here.
Welcome back. We were just talking. We had some earlier interruption communication issue, but I went through it. You went had to go and do what you had to do. I just kept you up. I just finished talking about, well, actually, I just finished talking about how there was some title changes in NCW. BRG lost to Channing, and your friend Dallas McCarthy beat the Riot Kellen Thomas. Because I just had finished how world class Channing Thomas came in and basically got his sweet victory over Mac Daniels with that pile driver at the end of that great tag team matchup. But I gotta run real quick. Why don't you start to talk about the next matchup, Disabled Wolf?
Okay, so we're on the third match, right?
We sure are.
All right, I'll take it over from here, Versailles. So, folks, the third match on the card was a really good one. It certainly was. The third match of the card, our first match was the opening collide between Big Beef and Jake Something, and you had a prestigious for a Shook Crew tag team match, which resulted in the Shook Crew victory. Prestigious got upset, and the debut of world class Shannon Thomas, he officially changed his act over in Maine, the same one we've been having at Wrestling Open. And now we are on for our third match. And it was a very hard hitting match between one of Limitless's original regular, Iron Rip Bison, versus the hardcore man of RSP, Ricky Shane Page. Ricky Shane Page has a lot of history and beyond GCW, and Rip Bison just lost the last Limitless show to the prize OG. Alec Price was very close to getting his hand on the Limitless World title by Alec Price. So both these men had a lot to retribute as this crowd is ready for hard hitting matches. Rip Bison is very notable for hard hitting matches in Limitless, whether it's his pandemic match or live match against Strat match against Beef. You also have a hard hitting Rip Bison match against Slade. That was amazing. And not nearly as hardcore of that, but it didn't have to be. It was the third match on the card. As you have Ripper coming out and Ricky Shane Page. Ricky Shane Page was the heel here, folks. He really was. As RSP, I chanted, some people thought it was Bray Wyatt. So I chanted, if you could hear me at Yarmouth,
Bootleg
bootleg
Bray!
Bray,
Bootleg
bootleg
Bray!
Bray,
Bootleg
bootleg
Bray!
Bray.
Oh my god, that was hilarious. And by that point in this, the edible had fully kicked in that lemonade and lollipop. So yes, it looked to me like the Bray Wyatt had shown up for Mr. Randy Carver.
He wished. I'm sure it would be at least 5 figures for that to happen.
I don't know. I know some local guys that are five figures.
But he kind of had very similar to Limitless's first ever champion, MJF. He began the way similar to how MJF did at Double Now, kept coming in and leaving the ring, messing with the fans and Rip's head.
Yes, that is true. He wasn't really well, you got to remember, Rip is just a brawler, so you got to disrupt Rip. If you get into Rip's game, Rip's just gonna pound you down. You got to
Oh, big
outsmart
time.
Rip. That's your only possibility of beating him.
Mm-hmm. As he how hard hit, he goes very hard in the attack zone. If you can pace your match against Rip, you have a great chance to beat him. As Rick, I think that was RSP's strategy.
It was.
There was a
It
lot
was.
of taunting, and Rip was just keeping going, attack, getting the hits, the chops, the slams.
But like I said, it was a good, hard hitting match. These two could hit each other.
But RSP was playing the defensive tactic and trying to trip Rip on the mid ropes to get some choke head submissions in.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And he was despised. I really believe it. The fans were all behind Rip 100%.
Absolutely, Versace. They really were. As he is beloved, I told him how he had a lot of motivation as he was very close at the last Limitless show to becoming Limitless World Champion. But RSP made a nice mid rope walk the ropes for his size into the midsection of Ripper. And I thought Greenleaf was going to count to three, but he didn't.
Can Greenleaf even count to three?
We'll find out next match. Next match is a very great match, but the one before intermission, actually, two matches ahead. Greenleaf had some notable expressions I'll get into later.
Oh yes. But Rip Bison is one of my favorites, and he was in a different spot on the card this time, which is always nice.
Absolutely, as
No
Rip,
more right after intermission for old Ripper.
he's getting the grind on early, Versace.
He did. And it was great to see him, and he got his victory, and he beat Ricky Shane Page.
Absolutely, and the crowd went crazy.
Sure did. They went nuts.
The
And
next,
honestly, I thought that was probably one of the second, honestly, one of the better matches of the night.
it definitely was. It was a very hard hitting. It was more using the crowd to get into tactics. One folk was trying to play defense, the other was in the attack mode, and it was Ripper getting that victory as he wants to work his way up to the Let's Wrestle of the Limitless World Title.
Well, he was the Let's Wrestle champion until Mac
Absolutely,
Daniels took it off him. He's gonna want it back.
you know who that is.
You know who it is?
And I thought it was a great match. Obviously, it was overshadowed by a lot of great matches that night, but I give it like a 3.85. You there, Versace?
We just say though, the next match was a Canadian Civil War.
An all female Canadian Civil War. Between the returns since the first ever Limitless surprise secret show, the Wild Child, Jody Threat versus the legendary Lufisto.
And you know what? Every time we go with Mike, I think we see Jody Threat.
How ironic. When he doesn't go, she ain't there.
But yes, this match was amazing.
Very amazing. Lufisto wasn't having the crowd getting. It was her first ever Limitless match, I may add.
Yes, but she's not obviously not new to the indie scene as she's in the Independent Hall of Fame.
She is new to Limitless as someone thought she looked like a Laker girl with her purple attire, but purple and orange, that's Edmonton Oiler colors.
Yes, aren't the Lakers purple and gold or purple and yellow?
Yeah. The other, which they are in the Western Conference final against the Avalanche as we speak, the Oilers, but this isn't about sports, it's about Limitless, but it was a really great match between Threat and Lufisto. I was so excited to see Lufisto. If you get to go to Beyond at the White Eagle, you saw her a few times, but she
Yep.
never got to the Pine Tree State.
And the Wild Child gave her a fight.
Absolutely, she did.
And I'm a big fan of Jody Threat. She's really good out there. I wish we got to see her more. I know it's hard getting, or it was hard getting from Canada into the U.S. But she would have been in Limitless more.
Of course, and she does go back to Canada to wrestle shows once in a while, too.
Oh yeah.
Lufisto wasn't having any of the crowd chant for her.
No, she was not impressed at all.
She had a lot of submission tactics.
Well, That's the thing. She's a very well-rounded wrestler.
And Jody
You know,
Threat is very
she can do it all in the ring. She can
speedy,
submission wrestle. She can attack you. She can go head to head.
and she knew how to work the speed of Jody Threat.
Good. But in the end, it was the Wild Child getting a little wild to pick up that victory over the Legend.
Absolutely, as she used the top rope pretty well. It was too much for Lufisto to handle. I really enjoyed this match a lot as she kept reversing a lot of Lufisto's moves, but Lufisto I thought was gonna get the win because she did a cannonball to Jody Threat in the lower turnbuckle earlier in the match.
She did, but it was Jody Threat though with that up. I don't even know if it was upset for Lufisto. I don't think she was happy with it.
Absolutely.
The fans were happy though. Fans definitely were on Jody's side.
Especially when Jody knows how to make use of jumping from the limitless ring onto the hardwood wood of the Yarmouth barn.
Oh, for sure.
She got the best of Lufisto, too much for her to handle, but I am looking forward to seeing Lufisto and Jody Threat once again. It's a lot of great challengers for them. I hope they can come back.
Me too. And the next match though was probably my favorite match of the night. I'm a huge Extreme Wrestling fan.
Oh,
So I
me too.
like every match to be extreme? No. But I do like one extreme match, and this was it. An anything goes match. Slade versus the one called Manders. Now we've seen Manders fight Rip. We've seen Manders fight before and beyond. We've seen him do some heavy hitting. This dude can fight. He's a tough bastard.
But not as tough, but just as tough, if not as indestructible machine as Slate.
Slade's insane though.
Create a pro prospect. We see him a
Right
lot.
from Rikers
Well,
Island, this dude is a straight up killer, and this was what this match was, a massacre. I mean, everything was used. Anything goes. We got to see tables busted in front of our face. We saw hammers being used, chairs.
wood,
Oh,
wood doors.
that's what I'm saying. Wood doors broken right in front of your
Maybe
face.
a forbidden door that was broken, Versace.
It could have been. You know, I'm sure. Well, right now the clips are up on YouTube of some of them. Pretty soon, I'm sure some of them are gonna get hit with an 18 plus warning because there was blood. Right soon into it, the one called Manders got busted open and he bled.
Oh, absolutely, Versace blood.
I didn't see Slade cut open, but I did see Manders all night getting bleeding from the head. And Slade just relentlessly kept assaulting him.
Oh, I know it.
They did some crazy maneuvers between chairs. They like I said, they broke each other.
They even broke a. They all started off when Manders out Slade wasn't waiting for the ring. They brawled right in front of the fans to start the match.
Yep, it just went right into it.
Absolutely, it was a phenomenal match. A lot of hardcore. It was one of my favorite matches. Hard hitting. You didn't know who was gonna pull. Manders did bleed way more than Slade. It's hard to get the bastard Slade to bleed. But
It
Slade
is.
grabbed a trash can and hit one of the Dojo.
It is.
Guy has
But it was like I said, Slade taking the victory, basically putting he got handcuffs, cuffed his hands together, and choked the life out of Manders.
oh big time.
It was a straight up murder. But you know, Slade's the man, right?
Oh big time. I enjoy coming to have him wrestle.
Like I said, excuse me, my wife got me these great spicy Doritos for like my birthday. They're really good. But anyways,
Ooh.
you know, like I said, I'm a big fan of extreme wrestling. Do I like it to be every match? No,
No.
but one match a show is great, and Limitless does do it a great time when they put on their hardcore extreme matches.
That's why he's one of the best promoters and one of the best promotions in not only the whole New England, but perhaps the whole Northeast. Is because you get a balance. He mixes up with the regulars you see at the dojo, or Let's Wrestle, or Chaotic. But you also have the one off indie talent from all over not only the Northeast, but some from around the country he rotates. So it's
Yep,
never a dull show.
never. And then it was intermission time. I went around and met with Shook Crew. I actually met LuFisto.
I met Jake something and Ricky Shane Page. The
Nice.
training cards from them.
Very good. No, I like. There was a good WCW, a working class, I think, wrestling figures or something.
That's not the WCW I'm used to hearing, Versace.
I know. And they were selling all sorts of like Mark Hasbro figures. They had the old Remco, Scott Hall,
They had a lot of 8x10s of AEW and WWE legends.
hundreds of books with just autographs. Your friend Matt would be in his glory.
Oh, I know. I saw a WrestleCon guy from at Limitless. I should have introduced him. I should have Matt come. Once if Randy gets someone that used to be in WWE, I'll bring my friend Matt. He'll need his book signed.
Well, we had that in the main event tonight, but what a time though! It always is a good time at the intermission. And might I add you, this time at Limitless was a little bit different for the first time. IWTV was streaming this event live for the folks at home. They didn't have to wait a couple days or a week. They got to see it live as we were seeing it.
It makes everything so much easier because if there's times we can't go up to Limitless, we'll make a plan that every Saturday last month to watch it together.
Exactly. Make a day of it. But yeah, what an intermission, and then kicking things right back into the show was a great match. In my opinion, one of my favorites, Brad Cashew with Dean Bernacola.
Oh my god, that guy looks exactly like Chase Del Monte.
He does. He's his good friend. He's Chase's good friend, Dean Bernacola, and he versed Desmond Cole, Big Boofa,
He
in a
is.
University Rules match. Might I add?
And Big Boofa's becoming the hooker Dan Hawson of Limitless. The crowd's really pushing him.
They love this guy,
He's very energetic, very danceable.
but they also hate Cashew. You come to Chaotic, they go nuts for the guy. You go out there, they hate him.
He is he's a nutty action guy and chaotic, but he's an arrogant, solid.
We got to see some great technical wrestling from him. We don't really see that too often. We do, but not in this way. He really worked and really wrestled, like a college wrestler would. Well, I mean, he is representing BU. Kumasam Lad, you heard the whole speech and how smart he is. So,
There'll be a time where someone tries to come to town to
well,
have
you never see the dean go to any of Panchu's stuff. I mean, but the dean went to Cashew's match. Cashew's one of the most famous BU students.
you don't see the dean go in the East Boston or Watertown shows are chaotic.
Nope, but that's what I'm saying. So this was a fun match for me because I am a fan of Cashew,
I am
but
too.
Boofa was on fire.
Absolutely. And he every Dean was there to have a mic. Every time the rules were broken, he would let the crowd know.
Oh yeah,
University rules. The
it
cat
was a great match up until the dean got himself thrown out.
and he almost cried, Mr. Dean Funcola.
He did.
Guy with a PhD. At least I think he is. Unless like unless him and Chase is like Clark Kent and Super
I don't know.
Parker and Spider Man.
I
Cause
don't know.
we had ever since the 2020 and we I did see Chase Del Monte come scout chat town and but ever since Dean arrived, I haven't seen him go to Limitless.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but Brad Cashew was targeting the limbs. They're trying to kick. He was using the ankle lock on Boofa. I thought he had it.
Yeah, exactly.
He had his wrestling BU gear on too.
But it was Big Boo for stealing the victory.
And he never lost with Brad Cashew coming into it, was undefeated in university rules.
Well, I still think Big Boofa might have cheated.
Yeah, definitely. That's what the dean says. That's what Brad said.
So we'll have to get more on this. I'm sure this isn't the last time we're going to see the Dean or Brad up in the
Well,
Pine State.
definitely not the Boofa.
And,
Guy's the
in the
man.
next matchup, though, we got to see the new NCW Women's Champion, along with their posse Art,
The
Ricky
dime
Smokes, the
piece.
Smoke Show, and Aaron Rourke, the Dime Piece.
The art.
And they faced MSP and a mystery opponent, and I didn't really know who it was going to be. I threw out the name Alexander Lee just because we haven't seen him since they just appeared. But it wasn't. It was somebody very unexpected. The return of Becca, the
The
iconic pop
leader,
star.
former leader of the Scrunchy Squad, newly famous pop star, Becca.
Her traveling through Germany and everywhere has gotten her to icon status. And now
And,
she's on top, and she was back in action.
and her and the MSP would make a good trios tag team.
They did.
As
It was a very
MSP, it's
good. They
always
had
great
very
to.
good. They had very good chemistry together.
I'll admit, it doesn't feel right going to Limitless and not seeing MSP.
Oh yeah, they are the favorite tag team. But
Aiden Negro, Danger Kid, always a blast to see them.
it is. It really is. They're some of the nicest people you can meet in this industry, especially after the show. I talk to them. The people that usually work the second half of the show won't be out during intermission. They will come at the end of the show.
It's usually people who don't mind staying later.
Then the other people that don't stay later. So it all depends. But I always like to say hi to MSP, and they look right at us and say, "Hey, we appreciate you." And that's just a great film to have all around, and we appreciate them. We love tag team wrestling. We love MSP. We love Limitless Wrestling. It's like our home. This was great coming back. It felt right. I had a great experience. The whole weekend was a magical time down there. Like I said, we stayed in Freeport. You were there. We had our friend Mike meet us for lunch. We went to the show that night. Next day, we went out, enjoyed the town, watched the game, a little AEW. Sunday we got on Monday we got to go shopping, enjoy the weather. Great time all around this weekend at Limitless, kicking things off. And
There'll be times where we'll have to be just go there and come back home, but there'll be times I'm hoping that not only just me and you, if anyone wrestling want to get Airbnb, stay at a hotel, make a day out of it.
oh yeah, I mean honestly, it's worth it. It is certainly worth it. And
You have
yeah,
coming into the match with their gear.
but it was MSP in the end taking this victory, and Becca, while she might have not been 100%, she really kicked some ass, and she went right after Aaron Rook
It didn't
and
help.
Ricky Smokes. And there's gonna be some.
Bad mood. He lost that title. I asked him how Mortar was doing. He got mad. He didn't even acknowledge me because
Well,
he
no, he won't. But I think Becca will be going after Aaron Rock and Chaotic, and she wants a rematch with Ricky Smokes as well. And
had a million views again.
that's what I'm saying. Maybe another 10 million views. She was one of our. That was one of our first success videos. The video with her in Ricky Smokes at the Doja. Not the Doja. Sorry, at the at New England Pro Academy during that one of the first shows, second show back for the tapings, and
He was so happy they were throwing streamers at MSP and Becca.
oh yeah, they loved to see Becca back in action. She was injured. She got injured overseas, and she had to be out for a while, and she's back. And I can't wait to see what's in store for her because she's going to be better than ever. She's a pinnacle person now, in New England's women's division. WWE says, they have the best division. I still beg to differ. I think it's the New England women's division. Every one of these women fight and can fight not only with each other, but can fight the men just as good. It's number one. And, that brings us to number one is the champion Alec Price versus Lince Dorado from the Lucha House Party. WWE, this would be, the second person Alec Price got to fight from WWE that got let go. The first being August Gray. That's how he got this title. But,
Talk
you know,
about so talk
this
about
is this was, a little bit different. Lince Dorado, you seen him on TV, was made a joke. He's not so jokey in person. He's a little bit more serious of a wrestler than one might think. Yes, he did some funny stunts and some funny jumps, but it wasn't, Lars Sullivan chasing all three of them around the ring.
no, no, Braun Strowman beating him.
Yeah, you know. So, but he kept taunting Alec Price. Why are you the hype? Why do people like you? I don't see what's so special. But us Limitless fans know what's special. Us Boston fans know what's special. Anybody that's ever seen Alec Price knows what's special about Alec Price.
Beating
And like I said, it was tremendous. He's a tremendous wrestler. He's really, doing the Limitless World title a great service.
Absolutely, there is no doubt about that. I was looking forward to this match. Especially, he's had a really amazing run on Limitless so far.
He really has. And I this was one of the matches of the night as well. The chemistry was there, the wrestling was there, the action was there. And yes, it was Alec Price retaining, but there was definitely points that Lince Dorado almost captured this. And some of the fans were there for Lince. Don't get me wrong. I don't think anybody would have cried if he walked away Limitless champion. He was very much
Uh-huh.
over it. At the end, though, there was the incident that Alec Price kind of just, I don't, it wasn't on purpose, I don't think, but as coming through, the mask got removed from Lince Dorado. Actually got thrown into my lap.
Oh, I know, and
um,
you
I actually
like
gave it back. There was no way that Limitless was or him was letting me take that home. That those things cost some money. That's not like a prop, but you know, that's hard. A lucha, it's very sacrilege for a lucha not to have the mask on. Luckily, the main referees knew what was going on. They grabbed something, they covered him up. Nobody saw his face. Nobody got to see any of that. Luckily, but it was a scary situation there, and it was Alec Price retaining the world limitless world title. So I
especially
guess it's gonna
from
be him. It's gonna be him versus Beef next. But it will be in a few months because they are taking a month break while they do Let's Wrestle.
and Greenleaf was shielding Lince's face when his mask come off, sacrificing his ref shirt to shield him. What a
He,
clown!
yeah, he is Buddy's Maine's favorite referee.
He's the best.
I have to say though, there is
He has
nothing
the
like
greatest
limitless wrestling.
facial expressions I ever seen in my life, and he
Exactly,
likes to fly.
he does. There's nothing like limitless wrestling. I have to say, and
Boy, it felt good to be back.
it sure did. And I can't wait till the next time we're up in the Pine State. But that's all we have for you tonight, folks. We're gonna have a Wolf cast tomorrow night. The Celtics
Celtics,
are in the
baby.
finals, baby. The
They actually
green is
pulled it
on
off
top.
against Butler and the Heat. You got
We
the
are
team
gonna
with Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown.
We're gonna
Well, the
talk
South
about what happened down in Miami, and we're gonna talk about what to look forward to with the Golden State, and
Stephen Curry
it's
has a
gonna be a
lot of
wild ride.
experience. So
But with
Draymond
that,
Green.
I'm gonna have to say, have yourself a great evening, Versailles.